Emma introduced her new friend. With confusion, her mom Amy frowned. It appeared that Emma was pointing to an imaginary friend. Such a cute thing for a child to do. Leon had been her friend for months now. Emma included Leon in her daily life, which made Amy begin to worry. This had to stop if Emma is to grow up normal. Possibly, Emma was substituting the loss of her father with this imaginary child. What if she welcomed Leon as if he were real, but then suddenly have him move away? Moving away of someone real may end this imagined nonsense. Amy set the table for Leon to join them for dinner. Emma was so excited to have Leon seated at the table for the first time. Amy made sure that Leon was included in every minute of the meal. Months had passed and Amy decided this was the night to break the news to Emma. Leon was moving away. He regretfully will no longer participate in their family events. As Amy told Emma about Leon's move, Emma started to cry. This was not easy. But Emma needed to be rid of this delusional reality. Years had passed, and Emma lived a normal childhood. She successfully started her own realty in town. Today, she was to meet up with Jen to celebrate her birthday. Best to start the day off right with a cup of coffee. As they chatted about their pathetic love lives, Emma appeared to tune out a bit. For Emma, meeting someone is the last of her ambitions. For she was focused on growing her business. Jen, on the other hand, rambled on enthusiastically about her past relationships. As Emma answered the phone, a charismatic gentleman introduced himself, a writer looking for a quiet place in a quiet town to live. Emma was honored to be selected for the task. Noel admitted that he had a fondness to the name Emma. Weeks had passed, and Emma was becoming quite acquainted with Noel. So much so, she was so excited to meet him on Saturday. She had lined up a few showings for him to see. Noel and Emma met up at a local breakfast bar. A good meal to get their day started. But they quickly lost track of time to enjoy each other's company. Noel assured her that he had plenty time in town and didn't want to rush into a big decision just yet. As they finished visiting a few houses, Noel appeared to look overwhelmed. Emma decided to call it a day. Noel looked so familiar. But from where? To Emma's surprise, he invited her out for dinner, instead of taking his opportunity to rest. After having a large breakfast, they agreed on coffee instead. As they lounged, Emma was asked if she lived here all her life. Emma nodded. If she left, she felt someone would fail to find her. A silly feeling she could not explain. Noel recollected. He was adopted at a young age. Having no memories of his past, he was found wandering the streets. He only knew his first name was Noel. Therefore, that is the name he was granted through the adoption process. Mum called. She asked why Emma hasn't called her. Emma explained that her client, Noel, was in town, and she was quite busy. There was a hint of fondness in Emma's voice. Mom invited Emma for dinner to find out more about Noel. As they ate, Amy started with the questions. Noel and Emma were becoming great friends. Nothing more. It was Emma's tradition to keep the photos of all her clients and their purchases for sentimental reasons. Emma laughed as she explained how Noel hated the crust on his toast. A silly childish thing, but I guess that's how writers are different. This took Amy by surprise. She had once been requested to cut the crusts off. Hopefully, such a coincidence wouldn't stir old memories. Noel concluded his visit with a purchase of a home. In a month, he would be arriving into town. Emma's excitement was seen for miles around. While Jen inscribed Noel and Emma's name, she noticed something interesting. Apparently, Noel is spelt Leon backwards. That shocked Emma deeply. So emotionally familiar, yet so strange. Possibly, Mom would recall the name. As Emma explained the funny coincidence in Noel's name, Amy was stunned. That was the name of Emma's imaginary friend. Emma was 6 years old when Leon appeared. In fact, Emma would tease Leon by spelling and calling out his name backwards as Noel. Emma was speechless. She suddenly recalled her friend Leon. Amy came out and confessed. Emma had an imaginary friend named Leon when she was 6, but that she grew out of communicating with him. Amy then asked, where did Noel come from? To Amy's astonishment, Noel had no parents and was found wandering the city streets at 6 years old. The very age and city he had moved to by Amy's deception. How could this be? How could Noel be real and related to Emma's imaginary past? Certainly, no one knows about Leon, so this could not be staged. There must be a reasonable explanation on the striking coincidence. Emma detailed her discussion with Mum. Just then, Jen had an idea. If Noel also responds to the name Leon, he must have been her imaginary friend. Emma was extremely grateful that Jen was taking this seriously. Jen was never the type to dismiss any possibility. After Noel settled into his new home, Emma curiously asked about Noel's childhood again. Noel seemed a bit uncomfortable talking about how he was found. How does a 6-year-old not remember or be carrying a single thing in the middle of a large city? Emma let it slip. She called him Leon, and Noel's reaction was immediate. Noel fell silent. Emma knew by his reaction that name meant something. She mustered the courage to ask if Noel was Leon, her Leon. Emma fell silent in anticipation. Noel simply responded, yes. He then started to explain how he really knew her. His memories of Emma was all he had when he was found walking the streets. He couldn't figure out why his world instantly vanished, as Emma's imaginary friend Leon instantly forgotten. So hurt was he decided to abandon his name for Noel. It was only years after he felt the desire to find Emma again. Emma explained how Leon decided to move away from her suddenly, without a goodbye. That was what she was told. She stopped imagining because Leon abandoned her. Suddenly, Leon understood why Emma stopped imagining him. His efforts to find her was more than just friendship. He longed for her all these years, but he will respect her wishes if she wished him to leave. Emma stayed in this town, knowing a piece of her was missing. Leon was missing from her heart. She wanted more than friendship. Happiness began to brew. They both wanted each other. They officially agreed together to abandon the name Leon. For life was too short to be delusional anymore.